Hello, everybody. Before the video began, I just wanted to quickly address my absence recently, so to speak. A lot of that has just been work. I'm getting busy with a lot of my college work that's been going on, and that's taken up a lot of time. So content has slowed down for both streaming and video production, but I hope to be able to kick that back up in the next few weeks. So hopefully you'll be able to see some of that coming soon. I will say I'm also looking into a little bit more channel diversification. I did a Smash challenge stream a few days ago on my Twitch, twitch.tv/chugabit, in case you're not following. That is where most of my content comes from, if you couldn't tell. And I am in the process of making that into a video. I'm not 100% sure that that'll ever see the light of day, because it's Halloween focused, and it's already the 8th of November, and I haven't had any time to work on it. So, no promises on that one, but there is content in the works that'll be diversifying in the future. So look out for that. If you like Smash Bros, hey, good news. I do too. And I've got other content that I'm looking into at the moment. You'll notice I've now remembered to turn on the music. The reason I talked a lot about the lack of content was because there was another big reason behind that I didn't really want to say. The last patch was kind of not good to play on. Varus seemed cool. I liked him. Vayne seemed interesting, but was clearly overtuned, and Seraphine Ezreal, I have many issues, and I'll probably be making a video soon on my issues with the balance decisions that they've made in the past. But I can look at this patch here and sort of look at that instead. But Seraphine Ezreal represents a huge issue that I'd had with Riot's approach to balancing. And again, I'm going to make a video on that in a bit. But I don't need to worry about any of that right now, because I know Seraphine got nerfed. I don't remember all the cards that got nerfed. Usually I like to, sort of look ahead and guess what the changes are going to be, but this time I just kind of took a step in the backseat. I am recording this a little bit later into the day. The patch notes have been out for several hours at this point. But I just took a step back and have been off Twitter, so I haven't seen any of the actual patches. I've seen the skins, but I haven't seen the patches. So, yeah. Let's get into them, shall we? Varus is the first change. He's getting a buff on his level condition, going down to 7 allies from 8 allies. That's really good for him, actually. But changing it from 8 allies to 7 allies, literally dropping down that one difference, is a really nice addition here. It just makes him smooth out a little easier. I tried Vayne Kayn, not Vayne. Varus Kayn, there we go. I tried Varus Kayn as like a day one deck, and it was alright, but there was definitely an issue with getting Varus leveled up in that deck. He never really got to that point, and you had to use a lot of his followers to get there. This quick little change of just bringing it down a little bit, pretty good for him. And considering the fact that he hasn't been super meta dominant, and considering the fact that both Vayne and Seraphine, the two other champions added, are getting touched, both in negative ways, I'm imagining, this could open up the door for Varus to actually enter the meta properly. I know he was played a little bit with Pantheon, and I could see that deck sort of taking the place of Vayne Pantheon, which was the main shower before now. Jinx on level 2 now creates Super Mega Death Rocket on her level up. That's so good. Jinx has struggled to be competitive for some time. Turns out emptying your hand is a hefty price to pay. Yeah. We're giving level Jinx a Super Mega Death Rocket, SMDR. Sure. Upfront to reward her gambit, even if she doesn't stick around to see the explosion. That's good. That's a pretty good change. Jinx has felt like the worst discard champion for a while now, even with Draven getting very nerfed. So making a change to Jinx so that she gets her payoff at a reasonable time, i.e. the moment it happens, and also changing it so that it's not... changing it so that it's not when she discards her hand. Because she could discard her hand in the past again after you leveled her, but that's a really hard thing to do. You basically needed to have a rummage, and then have additional discard on top of that. So just giving her an immediate Super Mega Death Rocket, really good for Jinx. Lets that level up payoff be a bit more worth it. Jax is getting his level up condition tuned down. Equipped allies have dealt 15 plus damage to 12 plus damage. Jax has found some footing alongside Vayne in her support cards, but he still doesn't feel like the star of the show. or his origin. We're lowering Jax's level up requirement to give the Grandmaster at Arms a chance to continue to shine once the tumbling gets a little tougher. That's smart, actually. Very smart of them to touch Jax right now, because we know they're going to be hitting Vayne kind of hard. Yeah, I have no complaints about it. I will say Jax always kind of felt a little awkward to level up. Because you had to commit, like, your whole deck to equipped allies, right? And that always felt like a little bit more than you wanted, right? And it always felt like you either had too many equipments in your hand or too few units in play. So, good change. I like that. Hopefully he sees a little more play. Snip, snip, snip. Gwen's level 2 ability now drains 2 at minimum. Okay, so if you Frostbite Gwen, she now just drains 2, always, no matter what. Or stunned. Or when she's stunned, that's a little... I guess Gwen's been fine recently. Actually, no, she's... Red Gwen has stuck around since Gwen got in. I guess it's her level 2 ability, so it doesn't really matter, but... Still... Not a huge fan of that. Alright, well, getting on to the champion nerfs. Holy shit. Holy shit! Whoa! Seraphine goes from you've played 6+ new spells to 9+ new spells. Jesus! What a nerf! Wow. Yeah. Okay. I thought they were going to touch her health. I thought they were going to make her a 1-3. So... increasing her level up condition by 3? That's gonna make Seraphine even harder to level than she already is, obviously. But it also kind of constrains the amount of decks she can work in, I feel. A lot of Seraphine's power comes from the fact that you get these cheaper spells later down the line, right? You want to consider what spells you're doing so that you can, you know, make the choice between, okay, this one, I want to save until I can copy it, and this one I'm fine using to level her up. That's a really harsh nerf. It gets Seraphine Ezreal out of the meta, I guess, but Christ. I don't know if Seraphine sticks around in the meta at all after that. That is a huge hit. And, of course, slap on the wrist at the same time, Fan Club President is going from 4 cost to 5 cost. Good change to knock down Fan Club President. That truly felt like the most, oh, okay, you're gonna high roll the perfect option now card. And a lot of people don't already like the random stuff in the game. I like it because I commentate. I mean, it's funny, right? Like, your opponent's about to win, and then you drop a Fan Club President and get it detained for 2 mana. That's funny. That's fun to commentate. But I know I'm alone in that opinion, so I'd happily keep it to myself. And then Tumble is going to 4 cost from 3. I think that was the most obvious change. And then Vayne's level 2 just reduces the cost of Tumble to 0. That's just a wording change. That was the buff that Vayne was getting. Which is technically a minor buff against, like, Prank, I guess? This is good. This is a needed change. Tumble felt a little bit ridiculous, and I also saw that they were dealing with Relentless Pursuit and Golden Aegis in the same blow. So I think what's going to happen is they're probably going to push both of those up to 5, which means Demacia and Rally is going to be 5 cost now. And Tumble will still be your best way to get that kind of like rally and free attack effect, albeit now it's 1 cost higher. Basically, they just pushed all rallies and free attacks back 1. Except for Cataclysm. Cataclysm's still the same. Okay, another dual combo, although this one's of 2 different champions. The first one is to Lee Sin. You've played 8+ spells, is now becoming you've cast 10+ spells. Akshan gets nerfed with Warlord's Horde and Palace both going to count down 9. Both taking 1 additional turn to count down. That's a decent little slap there. I think the Lee Sin nerf is definitely a bit overdue. Lee Sin's been doing pretty good for a while now. He had a good deck with Nami Lee. But even in the face of that, Akshan, man. Akshan's been good since he came out. Kind of shocked that this is really the first nerf he's actually getting. But it's a decent one. Bringing down the countdown of both landmarks by 1. Increasing it by 1, sorry. That's good. That slows him down a lot. Because, keep in mind, it's for both of them. So it basically adds 2 extra turns or 2 extra targets. I'd say it's an overdue nerf. I'd say it's overdue, but it's nice to see that anything has happened to it at all. And this will make Akshan feel more fair, which is good in my opinion, because I think Akshan's one of the coolest designed champions in the game. Here's the Swain nerf. He's going from a 4-6 to a 3-6 and a 5-7 to a 4-7. So they're just reverting the power buff that they gave him, which is fair. I'll be honest, that power buff definitely felt like overkill in the face of everything else. And I feel like Swain's 3-6, 4-7 stat line, to me at least, it's kind of iconic. Okay, Ionian Tellstones is getting nerfed, and they're swapping out Healing Potion and Homecoming, which is now becoming Gruesome Theater and Ritual of Renewal. Gruesome Theater lets you recall a unit with 3 or less, I want to say, health? And Ritual of Renewal is the slow heal 4, draw 1 at 4 mana. Yeah, okay, I was right. So Ritual of Renewal is heal 4, draw 1 at 4 slow, and Gruesome Theater is recall an ally with 3 or less health at 2 fast. And I like that they're actually keeping the same idea of you can use it's still a recall and a heal. They're just swapping out for different spells, because Tellstones are about making, you know, underused cards interesting to play. And so Ionian Tellstones isn't actually losing any of its intended purpose. It still gives you a heal, it still gives you a recall. It's just that now they've been swapped out, so it's not as blatantly powerful as it was. I think Gruesome Theater is definitely the harder hit of the two. Ritual of Renewal might actually see a little bit of play if you're still running Ionian Tellstones after this. I think most people are probably going to drop it. I know Ionian Tellstones was like the only Tellstones that saw play. I think the only other one I ever saw was Shadow Isles Tellstones and Spooky Nami. But I don't think, for the most part, Tellstones sees any play at this point in any region, really. I guess Piltover Tellstones a little bit. But yeah, no, it's cool to see this get changed around, and I really love that they made these cards with the intention of swapping out the spells so that they can keep things in check. Super cool card, just super cool card design, and I do like that they're swapping it around. I can also see the next one poking its head out a little bit. Shimon Wind is going from burst speed to focus, which is great because it means you can't just have the best burst blocker in the game now, and you can actually commit to your open attacks fairly easily, so that's nice. It also stops them from drawing one at burst and getting a blocker. Like I said, this was the best burst blocker in the game. Bit more of a tongue twister than you'd expect, that sentence. Relentless Pursuit does not get the cost increase that I thought it was going to. It's now just a normal rally, instead of granting an ally +1/+1. I mean, hey, that felt kind of tacked on to begin with. I'll be honest, I'm fine to see that go. And then, ooh, wait, Golden Aegis is going up to a 5 cost. Okay, so Golden Aegis gets the cost increase, and Relentless Pursuit just drops its targeting effect. Curse of the Tomb is going to a 3 cost now. Players have been able to combine Curse of the Tomb, sometimes more than one, with Overwhelm to produce huge Nexus damage. While it hasn't crushed win rates yet, we want to preemptively increase the cost for the long-term game health. Yeah, I always found it a little weird that this was multiplicative. I never really understood why you could add more to it. I mean, it was kind of funny because the first time I saw this card, I just completely missed the I take double damage aspect. Yeah, I don't quite get like why it stacks, but that's neither here nor there. Fine change, nothing really to talk about. Saga Seeker is a 1/1. This was so long overdue. I truly do not know how it took this long for Saga Seeker to get put down to a 1/1. He's not the most obscene card in the game, and hasn't been in the past few metas, but he's been just a really good card. So yeah, you know, this is a nerf that long time coming. But no, I can understand why it's in the game. And wow, when I saw Hookmaster, I didn't say it. Sorry, this literally just peeked out, so we're doing the quick transition. I didn't want to say it because I didn't think it was actually going to happen. But I did actually kind of think that they were going to set Ionian Hookmaster to a 0/1. Because what other change are you going to do to it, right? Make it a 3 cost? Then it's in a weird spot at that point. Yeah, is there any equipment that doesn't give you power? I think they all give you at least 1 power. So she'll be like a 2-2 or a 2-1 tough or something, right? Not a bad stat line for a 2-drop, honestly. Okay, variety card buffs. Paparo the Great changed to create a Yordle, to summon a Yordle, grant other allied Yordles, to grant all Yordles. Wait, what? Where is he summoning a Yordle? I'm not sure what this first part is referring to. I kind of have a feeling it's for something down here. But that little bit there, grant a Yordle, attack, grant Yordle allies +1/+0. So he just grants himself the attack buff now, which makes him an actual valuable threat to, you know, look at and kill. Because he'll just keep buffing himself up too. So he'll become a 3-2 on his first swing and a 4-2 on his second swing. Good change, actually. Makes Paparo feel like a good attacker. 3 mana 3-2. Not the best stats, but since you're also buffing the rest of your board. And Bandle City does already like to go quite wide. It's a good buff. It's a good change for Paparo. I wish I just knew what this first part was talking about. Okay, Swole Scout got redesigned. I don't even know what it initially was. 3 cost 2-2. When I'm summoned, grant me +1/+1 for each other Yordle ally you have. Ooh! Okay, that's kind of strong. And then Yordle Newbie is redesigned to a 1 mana 0-2. When you summon another Yordle, give me +2/+0 this round. Okay. So they're pushing the Swarm idea of Bandle City. Nice. I like that idea a lot. You probably run it more with Poppy, if I had to guess. Poppy's probably the champion that you use to take this deck ultimately to your victory. But I like the change. I love the design direction of Yordle Newbie. I think that's a super cool idea. Of basically being like a pure attack-focused sparring student. Which is good because a sparring student is shockingly good on defense. And then Swole Scout. What, if you have 5 other Yordle allies, he becomes a... If you have 5 Yordle allies, he becomes a 3 mana 7/7. That's incredible value. Yeah, that's a little high. Huh. I don't like that. Alright, the Freljord buffs. We want to cement Freljord into the region that does what it does best. With these changes, we are looking to position Frostbite as a more desirable tool for the region as a whole. It's also been a little while since we buffed Frostbite, and we couldn't keep giving it the cold shoulder. My guys, you printed the unforgiving cold? That's not Freljord. That's a cultist card. Every region has Frostbite now. I mean, Shattered a 1-cost is fine. It never really felt like that great of a Frostbite to begin with, so making it a 1-cost is honestly... Yeah, that's a decent change. It's kind of its own flock now, at slow speed, which is neat, actually. I like that. And it has more flexibility than flock, be it it's now at slow speed. And then Rhymefang Wolf is just swapping its stats to survive a little longer, which is... I mean, that's fine, I guess. The only problem with this, right? It doesn't really matter too much. Like, yes, obviously the 3 mana health threshold is a good one to hit. But the power of Rhymefang Wolf doesn't super matter, right? Rhymefang Wolf can just have 1 power, because as long as it strikes, it'll kill the unit with 0 power. And that's the only thing you're ever really doing with Rhymefang Wolf. So it's a nice change. I'm not actually sure how much it really matters in the end, though. And then more Freljord buffs. Troll Scavenger is going from a 1/3 to a 4/3. Or not 4/3. A 1/3 to a 0/4. 4/3 would be a little bit interesting. Yeah, no, I like that change. Making him a 3/4 if you behold an 8-cost card. Which you mostly do this with, like, what? Freljord Targon, Freljord Shadow Isles. You're gonna have 8+ cards to behold. And then you have a 2 mana 3/4, which is a domineering stat line. Alright, Hexbliterator. Deal 6 to a unit. If it would die, obliterate it instead. And the change was 5 damage to 6 damage. That's nice. That just feels nice. So Hexbliterator is basically another... It's basically another Vengeance at this point. not a lot of things have more than 6 health. Celestial Impact now also heals your Nexus 3 when you obliterate a unit or a man mark. Christ, that's actually pretty good. Ooh. Also, potential teaser for what Kayle might do. Ravenbloom Conservatory and Lord Broadmane. Alright. Although Annie has found success as an aggressive champion, some of her slower support cards have fallen out of new meta. We're partially reverting patch 3.13's nerf to Conservatory and beefing up Broadmane to help bring them up to snuff. So Ravenbloom Conservatory is finding the middle ground and now going to countdown 11 rather than countdown 12 or 10. As a Jhin player, this hurts my heart. And Broadmane is getting +1/+1, going to a 3/5, which is excellent. Because I thought a 6 mana 2/4 was shit, and I was right. Which sucks because this effect is actually really cool and really fun for like control-styled decks for this. It's awesome. I want Broadmane to be a better unit because I really want to take Jhin in a control direction, and I think this is a fantastic way to do it. Yeah. Sai'nen is getting fully reverted? I guess? I mean, here's the thing. The stats of Sai'nen weren't really what mattered, right? Sai'nen was good because it drew 2 and it gives allies +1/+1. And those are 2 pretty good effects that just happen for summoning this unit. So making a 3/3 gave it, less of a reason to play it. I mean, I guess it's kind of sitting in the same boat as Broadmane up here. So I kind of can't complain too much. But Sai'nen actually saw play, and Broadmane didn't. So I will still complain. Laurent Duelist has been redesigned to a 2-cost 2/2. Play, grant an ally in hand challenger. His old effect was give an ally challenger this round on play. Good change. Initial effect from Laurent Duelist was bad. This new effect, pretty good actually. And 2-drop is actually important too, right? I'll tell you right now where this is gonna go. Zed Lulu. If anyone remembers that deck, Zed Lulu used to be a lot about just swinging fast and running hard. And if you can get Laurent Duelist to put challenger on Zed, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, yeah. Pretty easy to pick off the weaker units. Okay, Ibaaros is going to a 1/1 from a 0/0. Good. While Silence should be an effective tool against a card like Ibaaros, killing the Darkin outright was too harsh. Yes. With a 1/1 base, Ibaaros will at least be left barely standing post-Silence. Plus, we think making him a 30/30 instead of a 29/29 is just what he needs to push him over the top. Yeah, this is a simple change that really should have just been how he was printed, honestly. No complaints, nothing to complain about. Good buff, good change. Silence shouldn't be a vengeance. Safety Inspector is going from a 6 mana 6/6 to a 5 mana 5/5. After the changes to Landmarks Destruction in the last patch, we thought it would be safe to shift a little extra power to this underutilized Inspector. If I'm not mistaken, he lets you destroy a landmark to deal 3 to anything? I was correct. He's just a get excited, but instead of discarding a card, you destroy a landmark, and also, it's free. You don't have to pay any extra mana for it. Cool. Great. Make the value engine cheaper. I think that's an awesome idea. Oh. With the Hate Spikes Reaver, we wanted to give a little more reason for Shadow Owl's Slay decks to return to this card. After all, she does love visitors. The Escaped Abomination is now a 3/3 rather than a 4/2. So it's got a better defensive stat line. You can now block more with this, which is nice. This felt pretty shit to have as a defender. You pretty much just had to use it to push more aggro, which meant you kind of didn't have a blocker for the turn after. But no. This is a good change. This is a good change, evening out the stats. Bone Club is going from +4/+4 to +5/+5. Okay, we're in the boring section of patch notes where it's some pretty simple stat tweaks. I'm not expecting we're going to see a lot of crazy stuff beyond this point, so this might be faster section. Bone Club, Big Club, me make club bigger, bigger club hurt more good. Yeah, said it best. Ren Shadowblade 2. It's going to a 3-3 from a 3-2. While the rest of the cultists have been getting on in the dark and fun, Shadowblade Fanatic has struggled to make it into the light. Or dark. I don't know anymore. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Ren Shadowblade is always going to suck, and I don't care, and this change changes nothing. Ren Shadowblade is a bad card, no matter how you change his name. I saw a lot of theory crafting on this card specifically. People thought, you know, it was going to get more health. People thought it might get Reforge. Reforge on this would be a really cool buff, by the way. If this card had Reforge and it could create, like, Quick Attack or Overwhelm for itself, or be a huge damage pusher with the +2/+1. Sort of all the reasons why the new Runeforge Squire? I'm not 100% sure I got that name right. Rune Squire. We'll go with Rune Squire. Why Rune Squire is so good is because it's Challenger and it reforges, so it gives you that +1 or +2/+0, that quick attack, that overwhelm, potentially letting you get some good swings in just by using the reforge it has and using it on itself. If Wrathful Rider had the same thing, where it could give itself quick attack or overwhelm, that'd be awesome. That'd just let you, like, just beef through something with the overwhelm and make it really good to actually feel like you're using this card properly. Gorlith is going from 0-10 to 0-12. Gorlith's Grandeur hasn't scaled as well with the modern power level of the game, so we're giving him a bit more ability to have an impact when he lands. I think that's cool. Guaranteed just to set your Nexus at 12 without hand buffing considered whatsoever, and I'm not considering that at the moment. That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Duskrider is going from a 5-cost 3/5 to a 4-cost 3/4. Cool. Duskrider should be a cool finisher for Nightfall decks, but its high cost has put people to sleep. Yeah, no, this card was not good. I think making it 4-cost makes it feel better, right? Because you're at the very least, I think you're guaranteed to at least get a 4/4 with Fearsome, which is not bad. Not great, but not bad. Reaver's Row is going down to a 4-cost from 5-cost. When you're building a card around 1-drops, dropping 1 turn earlier can be pretty crucial. Yeah, Reaver's Row was never good because of its cost, right? 5-cost is really awkward to put down. That was the same turn as pre-nerf Targon's Peak. Which, if you don't know, Targon's fucking peak, man, let me tell you. Yeah, this is a nice change. I still don't think the 1-cost archetype exists yet. I think we're going to need a proper champion to make the 1-cost archetype exist, and I thought Evelyn could potentially be that, but Evelyn is not that, unfortunately. Spirits Unleashed now grants +1/+1 to allies everywhere, as opposed to just 1. It used to only do it to just 1. Now it's less of a deal 1 to everything and more of a one-sided thing. Yes, you're going to still deal 1 to your Nexus, and yeah, all your allies are going to be, you know, taking that 1. But because you're granting your entire board that 1 extra health beforehand, I mean, now it feels awesome, right? Wrought Colossus now creates a 4-cost copy. Whoa! Yeah, that's a good change. Let's just go with a stock standard improvised weapon, right? Let's say it's a +2/+1. A 4-cost 10/9 overwhelm, in addition to the 8-cost 10/9 overwhelm that you've already put on the board. Yeah, that's a little scary. Wow. Yeah, this card might actually be a decent finisher now. Darkin Balista is getting buffed to no longer self-damage on equip. It doesn't need to damage the Nexus at all. Although that was a fitting little punishment, I guess. I'd argue you could make it a 0-cost and keep that effect in, but it's still not great. Because as Riot has somehow yet to figure out, except they have, because Vladimir still hasn't been changed, self-damage in this game sucks. It sucks. Pathless Ancient has now been changed to cost 2 less for each unit recalled this round. So you can just have a 0-mana 4/3, sure, why not, yeah. It's fine, it's a fine change, yeah, 0-mana 4/3, would you complain about that? Because I wouldn't be. Void Seeker can now hit champions after you've evolved. Cool, actually that's a really nice change. While Kai'Sa has seen a good deal of play since her release, Void Seeker has never found its way into any of the evolved decks because of its restrictive nature. It was one of the worst cards I think I've ever seen printed. Now it can develop into a serious removal spell once all your keywords are online. Okay, so it's kind of just a win more for Kai'Sa. Not sure if it's worth the main deck. Still, it's still not great, but something at least. I mean, being able to hit champions is a pretty decent deal. That can be a pretty big difference in late game. And Shurima doesn't have a lot of direct damage from anything, right? So I'd say it's a toss-up whether or not this actually really changes things. I'm not expecting to see this run in a bunch of decks. But hey, maybe I'll eat my words on that. Bandle Tellstones is getting a buff, I think. Losing Keeper's Verdict and getting Electro Harpoon, which is the discard 1, deal 2 to an enemy in the enemy nexus at 2 cost, I think? I'm not 100% sure on that pricing. Man, Bandle's actually going to be pretty good this patch, huh? Alright then. It's a good patch, overall. It's getting rid of the main contenders of the meta in Seraphine and Ezreal, right? I'm not sure what else we're going to see. I'm not sure what's going to rise after this. I mean, the main buff was to Varus, so maybe with Vayne and Seraphine both getting nerfed, Varus might be the new champion to step into the spotlight. Just a lot of small touch-ups here and there. I'm very curious to see where the game's going to go. I think Seraphine's gone. I think Vayne is still in the meta, but definitely not tier 1 decks. Or not as many, at least. And I think Bandle has a potential spot in the top. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I think that's the end of the video. I mean, if you want, you can always like and subscribe. It's completely free, And comment down below and tell me your thoughts on the patch. Tell me who you think's going to be meta. Yeah. Cool patch, though. Cool patch notes. I'm very interested to see where it goes.